Hi everybody, just waiting for a couple of more people to join and then I will start. Sorry, it's still buzzing. Sorry about that. Hey Z. Hello Sophia. How are you guys? So I'm going to start with my first solo live now. And what I'd like to do is just thank everyone who listened to the previous 9 episodes and all the people that were on the series and on the show. I think we all learned a lot. I learned a lot, gained some insight, and it was great to hear the messages they left us with. And most of the messages were really very positive messages in terms of the pandemic and living a normal or new normal life afterwards. So a lot of people are calling it the new normal. And then some people are saying, was it normal to begin with? Were we living a normal life? You know, almost like rats on that, or hamsters or whatever on that wheel. They call it the rat race. That's what we were living. And I think for many of us, the lockdown actually gave us a chance to maybe put the pause button on. I know it did for me, put a bit of a pause on it. And, you know, we all live different lives, and it's interesting to see what different countries are up to and what the reality has been for us. You know, if you look at Sweden didn't have a lockdown. So there are non-lockdown countries who are also in the midst of the pandemic. So Sweden's almost on its way to herd immunity without having any sort of lockdown. They're a country of 10 million people and they adhere to social distancing. Japan also is another country. With us, we had a very firm and strict lockdown, and there was, you know, like a so-called flattening of the curve, and now the lockdown is kind of relaxed a little bit, but not actually. So we're still under lockdown, even though in our heads we're like, yes, we can just do whatever, but we can't. That's the scary part about this, is that we have to be always very vigilant and keep on those good habits that we undertook during phase 5. So I was speaking to one of the nurses at the clinic today, and then she was just talking about how many people she saw at the store on TV. And she said they were like packed like sardines. So no social distancing. So I don't know if the lockdown was really that worth it, I'm sorry to say. And 2 weeks went, 2 or 3 weeks were going, you know, we all felt good about the lockdown, and then, you know, it set in the doubt, the worry, all of which is natural, but I think our government is doing the best they can for our particular situation, and there's no perfect solution. What I was blown away by was India. So yesterday we spoke to Dr. Chaitra Anand from the south of India, and she's in Bangalore, and they are red zone, which means the infections are still prevalent there, but India, a country of 1.3 billion people, just have over 20,000 infections. So was tested for infections, and then a rate of only like 10 infections a day, which is quite amazing, I must say. But anyway, we, as practitioners with a special interest in aesthetics, got some guidelines from AMSA, which is the body, I wouldn't say they govern the aesthetic doctors, but they're like a guiding body. They're a professional body that many of the doctors belong to. They set guidelines for level 4 in terms of practicing, and it's obviously up to the doctor what they're going to be doing. and doing safely, but these guidelines that you follow to create a safe environment for your staff, yourself, and for your patients. And what I'd like to say to patients that are going to be going back to their practitioners is that please be patient. Most of these businesses are small businesses, and they've got lots of new protocols that they need to undertake, and it's not what it used to be. Like with our patients, they just pop in for their products, pop in and have a cup of tea. So you come buy, say, your hair supplements, and you'd have a chat in the front, and then you'd be like, oh, remember the tea I had the last time? Can I have some now? And you just sit there like a visit, and we can't even do that anymore. So you'd have to call ahead. You have like a sort of triage questionnaire, and then we encourage payment beforehand. We keep your package ready. You come in with a mask on. So there's lots of protocols that I think each clinic or each practice has their own of. So, just to remember, there is a lot more digital paperwork to do. So patience from us and patience from you is required. And any questions from anyone asking or anyone listening in terms of, the protocols and what to expect. I see that a lot of doctors are taking on extra disinfection measures. So we were thinking of one of those booths, where you go through and disinfect, but there's no like real proof in terms of is it like really effective, like scientific proof. They said you should rather do surface cleaning for that. So I'm not sure if that's really that necessary. I think mentally and psychologically it gives you a bit of like, what's the word? Relief, but surface disinfection, social distancing, good disinfection measures, and disinfection of surfaces, that's what's really, really important. We also got a cold fogger, so it aerolizes particles, like disinfectant particles that stay in the air and also settle on surfaces and disinfect. So that's something new. And one of the things I also learned, so if there's practices you go to for laser treatment. So when the laser hits your skin, it creates something called a plume, and it can also aerolize a viral particle. So you'll see that many places are actually putting a bit of a cap on these ablative laser procedures, Fraxel, maybe carbon lasers, that sort of thing. And Dr. Z is saying it's a complete mind change, and we are trying our best to adapt. And that's the truth. We are actually trying our very, very, very best to adapt to the new way of working, and also, the new way of interacting with patients, that mainly virtually via email, via WhatsApp, and all the paperwork and things are done beforehand, and even consultation, questioning, done mostly beforehand, and then procedure done like after lots of triaging and disinfection would be done, in the chair. So it is odd, and it does shorten contact time. The other thing is, people dealing with the new way of working, homeschooling, doing all those sorts of things. So it's a very different mindset, a change. And also, we've always, you're like now responsible for your child's education and the way they see the world and the way they are educated. Yes, you get guidance from the school, but it's like almost, I don't know if it's an opportunity to escape the box or the culture scape, but it's almost like we're catapulted into the future and trying to shape their mind and their character, according to what you believe are good values. It's very scary, and it's such a huge responsibility. But what we learned from, because that was a live that didn't, the sound was a bit off, but what we learned from the educator that did the live was that we mustn't put too much pressure on ourselves as parents, and do our best. I mean, obviously do what they tell us to do in terms of and try and complete the work, but not to put too much pressure on their kids, and not to put too much pressure on yourself. So yes, we just here to embrace the new normal. And if anyone has any treatment questions for me, I would love to answer that. And also, this is a gratitude post just to say thank you to everyone that tuned in and listened to all those lives and all those interesting doctors and the prof and the educator, and I really appreciate all the support. So thank you very much. Bye. Until we meet again. So